Hello, and welcome to Staff Spotlight, a program where we learn more about our staff here at Bates Technical College. I'm your host, Anthony Cordero, and today we'll be talking with one of our valued campus safety officers, Elmer Hill. Thanks for joining us, Elmer.
Thank you, Anthony.
All right, and can you please tell us and tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I first came into Bates in 2014. I was actually a student at that time. And simultaneously, I worked with the veterans at Bates. I was with the Vet Corps Navigator team. And I also, as you see now, I'm working as the campus safety officer. Bates is a great institution. I'm not saying it just because I work here, but because I've compared it to other schools that I know about. We have a lot of good programs here. I like working with the students here. Particularly the veterans, because I am a veteran of 21 years. And it just gives me a great pleasure to have this opportunity to come and talk with you guys about Bates and about my background as far as dealing with Bates.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mentioned to bring you on the show with our instructor. I was like, we got to get Elmer over here, because I know since I've been enrolled in April, and I see you every day. I see you daily, right? And it's very interesting, and I know we share the same interests as veterans, right? So it was really intriguing to get you on the show, and would really appreciate having you and taking time out of the day.
I appreciate being here.
Yeah, I wonder who's covering your shift, right?
It's being taken care of. We have a solid team that I work with. So
let me know if you need assistance.
Yes, sir. No problem.
So what did you do before coming to Bates? I know you mentioned that you were a student in 2014.
Right.
What interested you in applying to be the campus safety, and what did you do before that?
Basically, to answer your second question, the environment that I'm working in is, I really like the environment, The instructors, the staff, even the students here, they help one another. And a lot of times you don't get that at some schools. Me personally, I go out of my way to really help people. I think I was born to serve in a lot of capacities. Serving the country, serving at church. I'm a deacon at my church. And also helping the students out. I was young once before, and I understand what they're going through and the problems that they go through. But also with the veterans specifically, transitioning from the military to a civilian life is very, how can I say it? It's very hard. I just put it that way. Just the transition alone, when you're used to having things in an orderly fashion, in a routine that you work by, in a day in and day out, and then come to an environment to where some people understand veterans, some people don't, you had to adjust, So I was not only a Vet Corps navigator for the school, but I also was an arbitrator. I was also that go-between link when the issues came up with the veterans, And I also talked to a lot of young students, because I've been there. I came straight from the streets, so I can relate to any situation that they're going through. And I don't profess to be a counselor, that's not my job, but I just speak to them as far as everyday life.
Right.
And they can understand where I'm coming from.
What state are you from originally, city?
I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri?
Yes,
okay, so St. Louis, it gets pretty rough, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. They've been asking me 30-something years now when I'm coming home. And they say, you're not coming home, you got a house now. I say, you're right.
Yeah. And during the time in St. Louis, what was the transition like into the service? How was that experience? How did you get into
the service?
Into the service, yeah.
Well, basically, Anthony, I was drafted.
Oh, wow.
I was drafted in 1970 during the Vietnam era. I was drafted. I was in for 1 year, 8 months, and 28 days. Now that I was counting. Stayed out for 7 years, but I missed the camaraderie that I had in the Army. Okay, and home wasn't like home. I mean, home is gonna always be home. That's where my family is. But it's just the camaraderie wasn't there. So I came back in 7 years later, and I retired in '97.
Wow.
Yeah.
I understand the camaraderie.
Right.
It's the language, the lingo.
And well, it's something we live by.
Yeah, that creed.
Yes, sir. We got each other's back.
Yeah,
yes,
that's for sure. I could just tell right now the energy in the audience. If you're watching, peep his energy, because that's all the vets. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, what did you do in the Army? And I think we already discussed how long you served, and if you didn't cover how long you were in for, but what did you do, and how long were you in?
Okay.
Yeah.
My first job was I was an engineer and draftsman. And the reason I got that job is because I was a civilian draftsman prior to getting drafted. Excuse me. Once I came back in, I became a military police. I looked at all my options. I had various options to choose, and knowing about the military, I thought, well, what would be the best fit for myself, knowing how the military treat people, and so military police. That way I came in and also not only as a military police from the ground roots, but I also became a military police investigator.
Wow.
And in doing that, I wore civilian clothes all the time, which was great, being in the military.
Like a special agent with law and order. Yeah.
Exactly. Kind of like a detective.
A detective.
Yes, sir.
No one would know you were in the military or in the Army unless you pulled out that badge.
Well, they knew me eventually.
They knew you. Okay.
Because of our arrest rate. So.
Your arrest rate.
Yes, sir.
A lot of bad things.
Yes, sir.
It was the 80s too, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, with that being said, where were you serving? You said, I know we talked earlier. You said worldwide, and can you provide more specifics? Yeah.
I've been to Panama, Cuba, Honduras, Haiti, Hungary, Germany, Korea, Panama, Alaska, and most of my tours were overseas. Okay, and that's what I really enjoyed about the military, because going into the military, particularly coming out of St. Louis, I would never have gotten that opportunity to do that much traveling. It wasn't always fun, okay, but I got an opportunity to go and meet people, understand the different customs, eat a lot of different foods, which I still eat to this very day. And my military career, compared to most people, I was going to say was very exciting. A lot of people talk bad about their career. I'm just the opposite.
Yeah.
During that time frame, I played what they call All-Army basketball and baseball. And when you're at that level in sports, you're exempt from duty during that season.
Oh.
So again, I had fun.
It's like all-Army sports.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was on the All-Army team.
All-Army team. Wow. That's speaks highly of your athleticism, really.
Back then, yes, sir.
Yeah. They still have it too. They still have you become they have different positions. They have wrestling. They got snipers. And you said what sport? Was
Basketball and baseball.
And baseball. Wow.
Starting point guard and also the shortstop.
What?
Yeah.
Have you been to the Rainiers game?
Say again?
Have you been to a Rainiers
I
game?
have.
Oh,
I have,
I love it. Yeah, that's one of my favorite teams now.
Okay.
At Mariners. I'm a Mariners fan now. But that's pretty cool. What was your favorite duty station, or what was your most memorable duty stations as MPI, as a military police?
It's kind of hard to say. I guess based on the reasoning, I say my top two picks were Panama and Germany. And I got to throw Korea in there because that's where I got a lot of clothes made. So, those was my top three picks.
We're gonna talk more about the clothes, yeah, for sure. I've been in Korea twice, so
okay.
We got. Well, why Panama? What was about Panama that?
The weather, the food, the beautiful water that they had there.
Wow.
We went swimming, snorkeling, and fishing, and we just had a good time.
That sounds like fun.
You know.
And for a rotation too, like.
Yeah, while I was in the Army.
While you were in the Army.
Right.
And so, okay. So we're gonna have to talk more about your duty stations. I want to hear more about Germany and especially Korea. We share those duty stations. You know, I've been in those places too, and I'm pretty sure their audience will want to hear more. So awesome, and we'll be going to a quick break, a short break, but don't touch that dial, and we'll be right back with Elmer. And so stay tuned. Welcome back to SAS Spotlight. Today, we are chatting with one of our favorite campus safety officers, Elmer Hill. You can always depend on Elmer to give you a big smile and a friendly wave. And he is waiting for you at 6 a.m. in the morning to open that door. I remember. So thanks for being on the show, Elmer.
I appreciate it, Anthony.
And
I appreciate it.
I know we were talking before the break, we were talking about the duty stations that you served. I know you were drafted in 1970
yes, sir.
In Vietnam during the
Vietnam era,
yeah, and that thing was closing out, but you took a little break, then came back in.
Yes.
And you finished out 21 years strong.
21 years.
Right, and he's retired in 97.
Yes, sir.
Right, that's awesome. And we could talk about the different uniforms.
Right.
Yeah, I'm always interested about the different uniforms that the Army, rotates out. I had my share experiences of different uniforms, but we'll jump at that into later. But going back to where you served, where you where your locations were, you mentioned Korea and Germany. And so what was it about Korea that really?
Korea, first of all, during that time frame, like I said, I was a military police investigator, and I dealt with general crimes. I dealt with drug suppression. I dealt with black market activities, and particularly in Korea, there was a lot of black marketing going on. I had a team of 11 investigators and 4 agents attached to me, custom agents. And we ran one of the largest operations that we had. As far as the types of things that they did, well, they would go in the commissary and they would get, even though they was authorized to get certain things, they would get an excess. And we sometimes would sit on them, and watch them, and see what they do with all the food and stuff that they got. So they were black marketing it. An example, you might come in and get a bottle of whiskey, say for maybe $20, they'll sell it for $60.
That you only get in the U.S.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Wow.
So in that regards, there was quite a bit of that going on. And like I said, we had one of the largest teams that was dealing with that. Now, as far as some of the other places, still working as MPI, one incident, specifically, was we had I don't know if I should go in there, but we had a death that we had to cover.
Wow.
And it was kind of horrific.
Oh, no.
But that's all part of the job.
Right.
I had some great investigators that worked with me. Kind of compared to the team I have here, we have a very cohesive team here. And we watch each other back. So when you're talking about black marketing, I had a team where we would monitor everything that you purchased in country. And then we would come out and do what we call a show and tell inspection. And if you can't produce a certain item, you will either be fined or maybe be brought up on UCMJ. That's the Military Code of Justice.
Right.
In Korea, what I really liked about Korea, well, let me back up. What I really liked about Germany, again, was like I had a tailor over there that made, I'm sorry, let me back up. Korea, I had a special tailor that was made over there, and he made all my suits. So in 1 year, I had 23 suits made. The reason I'm saying it because, again, my duty outfit or uniform was civilian clothes. So instead of wearing dungarees like most people did, I wore suit and ties. I kind of missed that because I had anything I needed, I had access to. Okay, I had credentials. I carried 2 weapons there all the times, just in case. There were some sticky situations at that time, particularly when it came to drug suppression.
Wow.
I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but there was one case in particular I'll never forget where a guy drew his weapon on me, and I drew my weapon on him, but neither one of us fired. By the grace of God, both of us. I don't know about him, but I'm still here.
Right.
So it was those type of situations that you find yourself in, as far as in law enforcement overseas. It was more or less controlled though, because you can only go so far when you're in another country.
Right.
Okay, and then we have access to all the other law enforcement agencies that's in that country. So if somebody tried to do something, we always could capture them.
They got the bullseye.
Exactly.
Germany
Exactly.
and Korea, and it's those countries. Their law enforcement is not like our law enforcement. They have more of a nationwide enforcement. We tend to have different, law enforcement based on cities and districts, and for them it's a overall blanket.
Right.
Like in Germany, it's Polizei.
Well, not only that, you mentioned Polizei, Anthony, and I'll be honest. Polizei is a little different than how we operate. Polizei do not tolerate any nonsense.
Nope. Yeah, that
okay.
Crack your window this much. Yeah.
And I really enjoy working with them.
There's no, I know what you're saying.
Right.
You try to play the why you pulling me over? They'll crack it. They'll break your window and pull you out. Yeah.
I actually seen them shoot a couple of soldiers.
Oof.
That was jumping on some other people. So
It was wild back then.
It was.
I have an uncle who served. He was in Germany in the 80s. He would tell me stories in the 80s. And you were there, what years were you there?
Well, I was first there in 70, came back in 78, came back again in 81.
Okay.
And like I say, I've been to the other countries also.
You were there when the wall was up, the Berlin Wall, and they had the split, East Germany and West Germany. So you experienced, It
was a lot of turmoil going over there.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, a lot of turmoil for a lot of Americans.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Germans didn't take too well to us for whatever reason.
That's back in the day, yeah.
Back in the day, yeah.
I mean,
it's different now.
Yeah, it's the 80s. We weren't the best in the 80s, right? Our culture, yeah. So I see what you're saying. And so, in going with, where did you said you grew up in St. Louis,
right?
And then you joined, and then went to Germany. So looks like we're gonna have to go to a commercial break again. Of course, I'm joined here by Elmer Hill, and don't touch that dial. We'll be going to a commercial break. This is very interesting. We could talk all day.
Oh, yeah.
We should make this an hour. We should make this an hour production. Again, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back after these brief messages. Welcome back to our last segment of Staff Spotlight. Today in the studio, we're continuing to chat with our great campus safety officer, Elmer Hill. Elmer, it's good to see you again. Welcome
Always
back.
a pleasure.
All right. So we talked about your time in the military.
Right.
We talked about Korea, Germany, Panama. We talked about where you served, the positions you've held here at Bates. I want to know a little bit more about you.
Okay.
Let's talk about your family.
Okay.
Right. How many children? How long have you been married?
First of all, I've been married. I've been married, Anthony, 27 years.
Wow.
But I've been with my wife for 34 years.
So she's experienced the whole military life.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Pretty much. And my wife, I love her so much. I tell you, 34 years.
Yeah.
She's from the Philippines, by the way. I have I have 2 biological son and daughter, and then I have, through marriage, a daughter.
Wow.
I have 14 grandkids, 7 and 7, ironically, and then I have 5 great-grandkids. So the Lord has really blessed my family.
How do you keep up with all that energy?
Well, fortunately, it's only 2 that lives with me. The rest of them are in St. Louis. My whole entire family is in St. Louis.
Okay.
By the way. Okay, so just my wife, our daughter, and the 2 granddaughters are here. When I'm off, when I'm not working, if you will, I like spending time with my family.
Okay.
My family comes first. Like I said, I'm here to serve. I mentioned earlier, I'm a deacon at my church. What I do in my off time, a lot of time, is help people.
Okay.
Okay, in various ways. Sometimes I even help the transients or the homeless.
Okay.
You gotta have empathy and sympathy when you run across those people because they don't have. Okay. Sometimes it just takes a hello. How can I help you? Can I help you out? You know, those type of things. So my whole thing in life is I think I'm really born to serve.
Selfless service.
In a variety of capacity. I love people in general.
Wow.
I don't really hate anybody. But I tell people, like I tell the students here at base, don't take my smile for my weakness because I can turn it around and bring that first sergeant from the Army out.
I was about to say, like you retired as a first sergeant,
yes, sir,
right?
I did.
Which is a E9
E8.
and E8, right? Yeah, it's E9 is sergeant major.
Sergeant major, right.
But to be able to go that long in the service, especially in the 80s,
it
says a lot. And you have to deal with a lot of characters, a lot of attitude and different walks of life.
I'm glad you said it because I actually had to deal with like 230 soldiers.
Wow.
And that was under my leadership. I mean, we had what you call platoon sergeant, which had a certain amount of people, but, I had to deal with those many people. And like you said, you had different attitudes, different backgrounds, everything was different.
Wow.
And you had to know you had to balance everything, but you had to treat everybody fairly.
Right.
Okay, so I enjoyed my military career. I enjoy working here at base, so I'm still in that I want to help you mode.
Yeah. I just recently saw a position open online.
Right.
And I would not mind working for you.
Okay.
And having a top, as a first sergeant, retired first sergeant, that'd be pretty cool,
Right.
I might just go ahead and apply for that position. And you said you were married for 27
years, but been with my wife for a total of 34 years.
Wow. Yeah. That's motivating.
Yes, sir.
That is absolutely motivating. And 14 grandkids, 7 and 7.
Right.
Wow, man, that's incredible.
And 5 great grandkids.
5 great grandkids. You're a busy guy. You're a busy man.
Oh, yes, sir.
You're busy. Okay. And you're a deacon. How long have you been a deacon?
I've been a deacon. Well, actually, I've been a deacon for, let's see, I'm going to say 14 years.
Wow.
But I'm under different leadership right now.
Okay.
And I've been with my current church. Can I say the name of the church?
Yeah,
Woodbrook Community Church.
Say it one more time.
Woodbrook Community Church.
Okay.
And I've been under Bishop Jeffrey Jones for now going on almost 5 years.
Wow.
So my spiritual father, he's down in North Carolina.
Wow.
And when I transitioned, I moved over with where I'm currently at now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So spiritually, mentally, you're strong. Spiritually, got a strong family. Wow. Yeah, it's a good projection to show people, and you're a people person.
I just love people.
With the job, yeah.
I truly love people.
Wow.
And I'm not helping anybody out.
What do you like most about Bates?
I like the way the whole school atmosphere is, leading up from the top, from the president, through the faculty, through the staff, through all the students. I just love the whole environment, the higher education environment, particularly here at Bates. Like I said, I've been to some other schools, and you can tell the differential. Okay, but Bates, they're here to help you. They take time, and if I may, I was in the administrative medical assistant program when I was a student here.
Wow.
And I was the only male. Okay, and I was the first male to graduate from that program with a degree. Wow. Because it was a certificate program in the beginning, and in the interim they upgraded it.
Wow.
So I was the first and only male in that program, and it was very challenging.
What?
But I made the honor roll.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I when you get up in my age range, time for playing games is over.
Yeah.
You have to be serious about life, and that's why I try to pass on to these younger students that we have.
Yeah.
You're not here to play games, you're here to learn so you can have a career in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And most students, they drop out their second quarter. I was one of those who went to school first, and I ended up joining. And you know, like you said, you get old enough, it's like, okay, time to get time to get serious. You're in your last. You feel like you're in your last 3 laps, right? And you don't have time to waste.
You don't.
You got to build that generational wealth. You got to leave something behind for the fam, right?
And I've seen so many people, Anthony, that have passed away.
Yeah.
So I tell everyone, you know, enjoy your life while you can, because tomorrow is not promised.
Ain't that the truth?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you coming to the show, Elmer.
You.
Always a pleasure. Really, always a pleasure.
You're my brother,
and I'm definitely going to take the application process serious today. And right after the show, I'm gonna, you know.
Okay.
See if I can get
you'll
that.
do quite well, I know.
That'd be pretty good. Thank you so much, Elmer. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, definitely. And thank you for the viewers for tuning in to this episode of Staff Spotlight. This show was made and produced by the broadcasting and video production students here at Bates Technical College. Hope you enjoyed. And if I don't see you again, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. This is Anthony Cordero. It's been a pleasure.